Hey, so welcome to the Node.js Node API team meeting for March 9th, 2025. We will take our standard approach of going through the board, but before we do that, does anybody have any announcements they'd like to share? Okay, I'm pulling up the board as we speak then, and I will share it. Share. So just starting by looking at things and done. Anything that people want to point out that we should discuss apart on that front? Okay, in terms of has PR, I don't think there's any update on that particular issue, pull requests. In terms of in progress,
Yeah, it
go
was
ahead.
some interesting discussion was last week about C-based API. There is another developer, David Alsh. He proposes to create some kind of minimal subset of API. If you click on this link and go all the way down, he created a kind of very small PR in
Is
the
that
front document.
is that now visible, the right thing?
Yeah, if you go always way down, there is a
Sure.
link to his PR. I just don't remember. It's probably kind of in okay, we said minimal, I see very bottom, so I think his point, if we can add just this very kind of not this one, but
Okay,
below.
sorry. What is it? Go
Is
ahead.
it-
Or this one you mean right here?
yes. So his point, if we just can add this start function, is it's already will be big deal for many situations. So technically, if you click on this file changes, it's literally
Yeah,
just one function. The point is actually because currently all embedded API is C++, and
right.
while working with this more expanded set of C-based APIs,
Hey, right. So it's pretty simple.
right. So technically, he proposes just wrap up node start function, and
Right.
according to him, to many scenarios, it will be already kind of
Hmm.
quite enough.
Right.
So
Okay.
at least it would unblock him in what he's doing. And I guess many with warnings probably taken from my PR. I assume I
Right.
read all
Yep.
details, but I think that's a point. He uses same names for the files and stuff, so technically
Right.
it can be considered as a minimalistic version of this PR, which I'm kind of proposing down there.
Okay, so and this is right. So this is the one.
Right. And if you're interested, you can read this kind of related discussions there. It will be also interesting to hear your opinion. The point is actually yes, we kind of want to have much more extended APIs and
Sure.
stuff, but maybe it's enough to start with.
I mean, would you have any concern with us adding that?
I would say I would be interested to see maybe at least a test, but the problem is as soon as you add one test, you probably need to bring a lot of things which I already have in my PR. I,
Right.
I don't have big concerns. I think it's pretty much this function just simply wraps up C++ function, which currently effectively is the main entry point for libnode.
Right.
So if you look on our executable effectively just says I will call node start. um, so I don't know. It's maybe a good solution in interim solution, or maybe kind of way forward for us. Instead of uh, bringing in the whole big API set as we're trying to do, maybe doing simple things like this would work. What doesn't work here, we obviously don't have this um, ability to run different runtimes. The only way you can run different runtimes here is pretty much just to create worker threads, which again for
Right, you
many
mean multiple,
applications.
yeah, multiple threads, okay, yeah.
But then we can add other functions like pretty much this function name does not contradict functions other functions which I have in my PR. So technically, in some sense, if
Yeah,
you
it's a good question, like, would it be consistent and like, would they coexist nicely together?
um, I don't know. uh, but
Like,
definitely they will not contradict.
right, okay.
Uh,
Like, do you have an equivalent to start that just has more parameters?
yes, if you open my PR, I have something like node embedding platform main. I think you had this question about it to rename
Right.
it like its name at some point. So technically, but in addition to all these different things, okay, if you go to also this node embedding API .h,
Embedding API, right, yeah, okay, great.
and I think oh, you need to expand it probably.
Right.
Oh, node embedding run main. No,
Yeah,
sorry.
like I see one right here, right?
I think I renamed it. It's probably kind of its README file is outdated a bit. If you
Okay.
need to look inside of header file. No, it's you
Sorry,
looking
so it's
you
which file should I open?
with node embedding API.h because you're looking at README at this point.
Okay, I'm right. Okay, so
And
here,
you need to expand it. You see, it's collapsed.
this one, yeah, it's too big. Okay, yes.
Okay.
So has it still got a run in the name or?
Oh, you switched to README again for some reason. Sorry.
Ah, okay.
No, it's not run. I think it's called node embedding platform main or run main, something like.
Just
Should be first function after all these different enums and stuff.
okay, but first actual, these are okay, callbacks.
Okay, wait.
I'd search, but it seems to take me to the next. So okay, so node embedding runtime main?
Yes, no, not run.
No.
We should have. Could search for main? It should definitely have
Okay.
main.
Seems to somehow I'm still,
It's strange.
it does not want to load diff.
Okay, let me find it.
Okay, so this run main.
Oh, you're looking at implementation right now.
Ah, uh,
Yeah, this run main, like embedded platform run main. It's effectively implementation of this method.
main. Oh. I don't know why it's being so load diff.
Let me see real quick. Yeah, I find that it's a GitHub
Node
UI.
embedding main run.
Yes, not
Okay.
main run. Yes,
So
yes.
I guess it would be like, could you just have one, which is basically just the argc argv?
Right, right. So
Is
technically,
effectively what he's suggesting, right?
right, and it does not have version, for example, right? It's so I can try to do like a similar thing what we did with Node API. For us, it's very important to have a version, but I guess for this case, it doesn't matter which version we use, right?
I I guess it would be, that's a small additional thing, right? Like that's not a, you could, I guess the thing is if you're only going to use that one method, the API version maybe doesn't matter so much, right? Because like,
Yeah, because other APIs will not you're not able to use other APIs along with it.
Like maybe that embedding API version ends up being a minimal, like it's a version that basically says you can't use any of the other functions.
Right.
I don't know if that makes any sense, but
Right. And his function returns int. It's pretty much what normal C function main returns. But in our case, we do it like embedding status, like which requires some additional translation to
right. In the
integer.
node embedding status, what's that return? That say?
It will be pretty much zero if it's success,
Yeah.
or it can be like some additional kind of status. I was trying to kind of follow pattern which I saw like in node.js we do like we're trying to replace this integer with some enum. So thankfully I kind of trying to encode pretty much the same stuff there. Kind of following same pattern, if you will.
Yeah. I
So it
mean,
will be
so like,
not just integer, it will be some
yeah.
more meaningful integer, if you will.
I mean, adding a basic one, if it actually satisfies a good, some good use cases and people can experiment with it. I guess it's like, how far do we think we are from getting the full one landed?
I don't know. I still need time and kind of
Yeah.
it's
So if that's going to be a while and you're comfortable adding the one that is the smaller part,
I
I guess your point about testing is a good one, right? Like we'd still want some sort of test.
but technically speaking, implementation is trivial, right? Like we don't see much there, right? Like
Yeah.
uh, I probably
I mean, so like, yeah, I can't think of it as long as we keep it consistent with what you're working on so that like, if it's basically your method name, but an option that has less parameters, then kind of why not, right?
right. So technically, yeah, I think it's kind of good starting point, but I see some incompatibilities probably, but otherwise,
You see some what? Some incompatibilities
like I
or
see, like for example, integer return result, but it actually makes it simple, right? So technically, I don't think like if we add a more extensible API in future, this method would contradict anything. We just maybe should think about kind of name, like maybe is it start is a good name? I don't know,
I was just like instead we just suggest he makes it that same thing as what you have, just with less parameters.
we can maybe I would propose like name it like for example node embedding main like so technically it's what actually main function is. I don't know. But from other hand, like node uses function name start. But every time you hear start, you want to hear like where's your end if you start or finish. I don't
Right,
know.
right.
Start end like I just kind of more like what will be consistent naming here? Like is it start good name because we call it node start or
But why not node embedding main run?
main
Like,
run?
can we have the reason we can't have two functions just with different signatures?
Yeah, like in C you can't overload
No,
function.
okay. So in that case, we do need a like be like, so we really want node embedding main simple, if any, or right.
But
Yeah,
your comment here says like we some comments but you pretty much it should be kind of platform version. So technically it's maybe I should rename this function, but he could use this main run. Like,
right.
so-
Right, yeah, okay, right. Because it's
or run main, like how we prefer. I was playing with different schemas, like how what's the best. Obviously, like node embedding is just a prefix, but what after we want to do more like object-oriented approach, and we have like a object and then action, or we want to have like a verb and then
yep,
object. Like
yep.
should we say run main or or main run? Like I don't know what's better sound. I look on UV library. UV library it consistently uses, like, for example, they use first of all some like, okay, UV prefix, and they have some kind of object where you
Yep,
act upon, and then you have effectively action after that. So technically, it looks like a Yoda notation,
yep.
but it's more consistent. It's very easy to sort all these functions because all your functions were sorted by effectively by subject by object they act upon.
Yeah, so I'm having a hard time finding any reason why starting with something that simple. Like as long as you're not like, oh, that's gonna mess me up in later on as we get the fuller thing in, right? I can't think of a reason why something that simple doesn't make sense.
Okay, so technically, what I'm here, like you generally like this idea to start with something simple like this. I probably will leave a few comments. Like I probably would add here like calling conventions. I know we don't support x86 anymore, but who knows? I do have scenarios, for example, then calling conventions in x86 support is still important. So I would prefer, like everywhere we have is NAPI CDECL, remember?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, we might as well make it as flexible, even if we don't strictly support it. That doesn't really cost us too much, I don't think so.
Right. Like, so technically, this will be very minor
Yeah.
to change to VSPR, but overall, like a spirit of VSPR is actually. And I
And
also,
the like a test would be good if there can be one. And I guess the like if you have any suggestions on the name, think about that. Just like the more consistent is with the names you end up with in the end, I think the better, right? So it's like if this becomes the simplest function that you can call in the overall API. And it's, so this just looks like, oh, well, if I don't need to do all the configuration, I call this one versus looking like something different, I think the better.
right. Okay, let me think about
Yeah,
it. But technically, overall, it sounds like it's a good
yeah,
approach. And,
yeah, sounds good.
okay, cool. Thanks. Good discussion.
Yeah, thank you. Um, any of these other ones that are in this one, I need to follow up myself with our AIX team to see if they've made any progress on that, but I'm just looking to see if there's any other one. This one I would also like to have some other people say. So there was a suggestion to say, like, can we have an extra sugar method? Um, so it adds this basically as value method versus, and there already was like, I guess there was already an operator you could use, but the original, like the poster was like, but this is easier to use, so it's a convenience value. Convenience.
Yeah, sometimes casting like looks ugly in C++. So you have to say static cast if you want to be
So it's
explicit.
a relatively small ad. I don't like I seems reasonable to me. What do other people think?
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
Okay.
There's value.
Yeah, so we got a test. I think it's passing. I just wanted to make sure other people were like, yeah, makes sense. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I will add my I think it's even already passed all the tests. So should I just go ahead and land it?
Um, why not?
Been open for a while, so
Yeah.
okay. Done. Okay, back to here.
There are also kind of couple of PRs like submitted by another engineer. One of them changes to Node API documentation, and another one is for replacing some outdated V8 functions inside of implementation. I guess they should be on the very left column.
Right, okay. So we'll finish. Anything else in progress people want to chat about or not, I'll move. So to do, I don't think we normally like, unless somebody's jumped in or started to look at those, we can skip them. And then like, yeah, okay. So you've got over here, there should be some, these ones.
Yes, yes. So
Okay,
I left some comments, but author didn't come back.
right.
And a few people already signing off with stuff, so it would be nice we discussed this change. So overall change is good. It's just some
Yep.
minor things like I kind of left some comments, but yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like you've made some suggestions and it's just Tobias hasn't gotten back yet, right?
Yeah, probably didn't have time to follow up.
Yeah. I'm pretty comfortable that he'll respond before landing.
It's minor things, like it's definitely
Yeah.
like overall directions, right? That we have few points like effectively it seems like V8 didn't just deprecate one function, they deprecate a set of its right functions. And thankfully in our code I found like we have three different functions, so he
Okay.
only changed one, but would be nice if we change all of them. Plus it seems like new APIs using a little bit different data types, like
Yeah.
instead of size t they're using uint 32 or something like this, and pretty much just minor things like this, but it will be, I think it's a great change. It's just
Yeah.
it will be just additional steps to kind of clean it
Okay.
up and make it a bit bigger. I believe it will be nice.
Okay. So we can see like as it's one of those things where like somebody volunteered to do something. If
Mhm.
it's good to ask, if they just say sure, that's good, but I wouldn't necessarily block it if they're like, I'm not going to have time. We could then say like, okay, well now we know there's a couple other ones. Let's go, one of us go and change those. But I think we can just wait to see what he says. He may just say, sure, I've updated them or what.
Yeah, like if they say like I I don't have time to do it and stuff like
Yeah,
it's fine. But we know that we have issue. We need to fix it. It's very real issue because functions deprecated. It just
yeah.
unfortunately was no response to feedback.
Okay. So that's one good. We'll leave it on the list of things to look at so we can look at next time and see. And then this one.
Yeah, it's also the same author.
Okay.
Also left comments. Uh, Apparently, there is a kind of corner case, and we reading function, and we say that our buffer size is 0, then we don't fill 0. But technically, I don't like a bit new text because it says like we put in like 0 terminator if we can. I think it's
Right.
it adds a little bit ambiguity. At least to me, non-English speaker, I would really like to see more like algorithmic approach.
I think what would be even better is, okay, this, right, you have like what you could do even better is like actually suggest the new text, right? Like you can do a suggested change and then that way, if he agrees, all he's got to do is like click on the accept suggestion
Okay.
and, versus the, hey, I'll try something and then you'll be like, well, that's not quite what I meant, right? So that would be my one suggestion on that one is like actually just go into the file and like you can select these and say, okay, suggested change. If you just like, I assume but like, right, suggestion. And then,
You, you can type the first icon after the preview. Oh, okay. But
okay, is there a better way of doing that? But like
yeah,
basically, then
yes, the
go ahead.
first icon after the preview on the right,
This
on
one,
the left, the first one.
this one.
Yes.
Ah,
Oh.
yeah, okay. So right. Okay, even better. I learned something new every day. Oh, that's
Oh, wow.
great. Many
Yeah,
thanks. You just
you
saved
can
me typing.
you can select multiple lines or just
Yeah.
one and click there. It will put that template for the
Yeah.
suggestion change.
So you could make that suggestion, and I guess like yeah, you could use like add single comment and then do that multiple times to get one suggestion. But anyway,
Okay.
that would be the thing I would do is like If it's something you think they're most likely to just take, suggest it so it's like as easy as saying click yes, right?
Okay, I'll do it.
Sounds good. Right. We talked about those three. So this one, maybe I'll move into in progress since you were going to comment on it and we've discussed it.
Mhm.
These ones, I don't think any of these other ones are new. This one, like, let's see. Okay, so I think we're still just waiting on the opener to do some actions. Any of the other ones we should chat about?
Don't have anything on my list, but maybe something else. So I don't know if you were, I don't know.
Okay. No, I don't have any either, so I
Oh,
guess
I have one
go ahead.
one question which is not there in
Yep,
the
sure.
list. So I kind of I currently updating the Node API version and writing kind of updating tests and stuff for Node API implementation for Hermes, and I kind of looking what our Node.js Node API implementation comparing. I have one question in that regard. So we obviously we can't like for penalizers, so we put all the different checks like for different methods, so we can't run, for example, some codes, and because it may affect GC or something. But there is another kind of flag I have question about. We checking it, then there is kind of special flag. We're saying we can't run JS, right?
Right, like I think the env can be in a state where you can no longer run JavaScript, right?
Yeah, so like this flag was set typically on environment shutdown, like then before we
Right,
can, then as a part of this shutdown sequence, we say like we can't run JS anymore. So my question is like, so which functions we can't run in this mode anymore? Because technically, I see we currently checking this flag as a part of preamble, but I see like there are some functions which we still kind of using V8 model. For example, we can check if certain value is array or object.
right.
Don't check it there. So my question is like, is it correct or not correct? So what exactly we cannot do in this mode?
Well, I think like the only way to know exactly what we've decided is okay or not is based on the ones that use the preamble that have the check. We've said we believe those methods could cause JavaScript to run. The ones that we've not used the standard preamble that uses that, those we for whatever reason, and I don't think we have a list somewhere, but like we looked at them and we said that one we're comfortable will never run JavaScript, so it's okay to run that one, right? Like, so it's basically the contract is if they don't have that preamble check, like we don't believe they will run JavaScript ever.
I see. So technically, it's actually we talk about actually running JavaScript. It's not about like touching the GC controlled objects or something. It's more like it's less restrictive, effectively.
Um, I guess like I'm not sure about like, yeah, I'm not sure I would limit it to just running JavaScript, but like it's affecting, like if you're going to delete objects, like say you were deleting objects from the heap, from the objects that used to be visible, I think
Mhm.
that's still affecting, like effectively running JavaScript would be my first take,
Okay.
right? Like, so it's not that so like if you ran C code that used the V8 APIs to do things you could do in JavaScript to like delete functions, create new functions, I think we would still consider most of that to be JavaScript, right? Because does that make answer the question or make sense? Like,
Yeah, kind of, yes. Like I was given an example, and we check an is array. Like if we do this call, we obviously will not uh, will not
right. So
run
that's a perfect
JavaScript.
example of like we
It's
can we
read-only
can
operation, effectively.
yeah, exactly. Like it won't mutate anything
Mhm.
that could affect your JavaScript execution.
Okay, so technically we allow to run this function, say, during this finalization step.
Right, because I think those would be safe, right? Like, I think what we believe those should still be safe, even though we're in that shutdown stage.
I see. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions before we close out? No, okay. Well, thanks for everybody's time, and as always, good conversations, and we'll see you in GitHub and next week, and I'll try and be on time next time.
All right.
Thanks.
See you.
Okay,
See ya.
bye. Bye.